Knife only. Yeah, knife only survival. So this is our what we call our level 3 class, our knife only survival class. And I thought that this particular class in hot weather was going to be one of the more dangerous classes that we do, because it's so easy to get overheated in just surviving, getting things done. And so I opened this one up only to the cadre, the instructor cadre. And one of the benefits of doing that is that I knew I had people that I had seen multiple times in classes, and a lot of other times, obviously, outside of class, that I knew I could trust. And I thought this was the likely class that something unexpected that could be problematic could happen. Therefore, I wanted people like that, accomplished, good at skills, good at keeping their mind straight under stress. And so I opened it up only to instructors. Now, one of the things that I asked them to do is after class, I mean literally immediately after getting out of the woods, we got some water. We had some water during class, but I asked them to sit down and talk about their knives and some of the likes and dislikes about class. So that's what you're going to see here. I want to preface this by saying, again, this is immediately following our time in the woods. We're all tired, we stink, we're sweaty. We were hydrated, but we probably could have used some more hydration during the weekend. We were fed. We found plenty of edible plants that we could have eaten all weekend, but we didn't, and it wasn't our normal diet. So with that said, a normally very talkative group of people are a little reserved, and we're all looking forward to going out and getting some breakfast together. So take in what they're saying and listen closely, because there's a lot of valuable lessons here. And then I'll come back at the end and offer some thoughts now that I've had a good night's rest, a shower, and some good food and all that kind of good stuff, and offer that when we get done at the end. All right, boys and girls. Knife only. Who wants to show off their blade?
Chamonix. It's proven itself time and time again. Every time I brought it out in the woods, it does everything I want. Feather sticking, chopping, hacking. Yeah, it's just been a good blade. Yeah, real good for me.
I brought the Chamonix as well. I've got the V2 this time. First time I've used it for a whole weekend. I did a lot of testing with it, obviously, but this is the carbon steel flat grind version, the second version of the Chamonix, and it worked exceptionally well. We did a lot of stuff where we did some fine cutting, a lot of chopping, like not big chopping, but light chopping, which I love the Chamonix for. So worked really well. Pretty pleased with it.
I have the new Lubagred, and even though it's not a specific bushcraft knife, I still wanted to bring it, test it out. It did very well, from light batoning to super fine carving, even the fine point to drill holes, and the back of the blade for scraping bark and shavings and delimbing the cattails all worked very well for that. The G10 handles held up really well on the humidity and sweat in my hand especially, and still got a good grip on it, so worked really well.
Before we get to you, Davey, that's a Sword Slinger Customs sheath that I got last week, so it worked exceptionally well. Want to bring attention to his business. He's a really good dude. Made this for me. Real pleased with that custom sheath. Davey.
The knife I brought was just a pretty plain and simple buck pro line knife. It's got a good drop point, enough weight to it to be able to do those chopping and whatnot, but still not be big. Yeah, it did everything I needed it to do this weekend.
I also brought the Chamonix. This is the V1, back one of the original runs of that. Reason I brought that is it's a big blade. It does everything I need it to do, but it's also light. I know it was knife only, but I know being out in this heat, we were going to get drained of a lot of energy. So anyway, I could save a little bit. That's what I was going to do.
I brought a found knife. It's a made in China diamond carbon.
Diamond carbon.
Diamond carbon. It's got diamond stamped in it.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Nice.
I ground down the spine to make for being able to shave or hit the ferro rod. It's heavy. It does great for chopping, and but I was able to. If I sharpened it a little better, I would be able to do feather sticks even better. But it's a little clunky when you're trying to do small work. So, but you can do it. It's nice.
All right, so anybody, what you liked, what you disliked about knife only survival?
Definitely made you appreciate any other gear you could bring with you on any other normal trip. Even a trash bag would have been
does.
phenomenal.
It does.
Survival on YouTube is not like it is in the wild.
What do you mean by that? I agree, but what do you mean by that?
What I mean is watching videos at home, you may get it in your head, but until you actually get out and do it, it's almost useless knowledge.
You don't feel
You get a lot of comfort in the fact that you know something, but you've never tested and tried it.
Yeah, a lot of things.
to add on to what Wayne's saying. You don't feel that 95-degree temperature and 80% humidity sitting on the chair watching YouTube. So get out,
I
get
did.
after it.
I did hear.
Well, I just think like too, you can use videos and whatnot to get knowledge on a practical skill set, but really in order to actually have like the mental capability to put that sort of practical skill set into practice when you're under stress, you have to be out there actually doing it and practicing it to the point where it just becomes second nature. You just can't get out there the first time and expect to, perform all the different tasks that you need to perform flawlessly if you've never been out there practicing it. Because
Especially when
things fall apart fast.
when you're stressed and dehydrated and hungry.
There's two of you that have mentioned stress. What kind of stresses did you all deal with this weekend?
Lack of sleep.
How much sleep you have since Friday, Dave, you think? Total.
3 or 4 hours.
Everybody.
That's 2 nights.
Wayne
Yeah, 2
got
nights worth.
Wayne got 10 hours of sleep a night.
And 2 during the day.
And he snored the whole time, and 2 during the day.
I like my sleep.
Boy, you took it too, man. You took that to another level.
We thought about stabbing him numerous times just because he was sleeping and we weren't.
Water. I mean, we talk about water, but
Okay, let's not talk about. One thing I don't want to talk about is how we got our water.
well, getting enough.
And the
of
reason
it.
I'm saying that to you all is come to class. Get off the couch. We'll show you how to get water out here. But go ahead.
But getting enough of it in heat like this for 6 people, it can be an all-day task.
It was a lot of work for sure.
And that makes you appreciate every drop of water that you did procure and treat. And don't take this for granted.
And teamwork, invaluable teamwork.
That's the
You
first
gotta
thing they
work
did
together.
too, was sign partners, buddies.
You got to work together.
Yeah, for you military folks, you talk about battle buddies. We have survival buddies all the time in classes here, and that's the first thing that we did, as Davey said. So we were keeping up with somebody, make sure nobody got lost and everything's good.
Health and welfare checks and stuff too along the way.
Take check.
Yeah, tick checks was interesting. And a bunch of strangers, you get down to basically your underwear and check each other. So ticks are a real problem in this part of the world. So I've had Rocky Mountain and Lyme, so I don't want you all to get it. So tick checks are pretty imperative. What else did we like or not like? We found some good edible plants. We had as much edible food plant-wise as we wanted. We left a bunch from one patch that we were eating on for a while. We tried to get an animal and did not succeed in that. What else you all? Likes, dislikes?
It's just surprising the how rapid your energy is zapped when you do not have calories in water, and you lose your mojo to go find those things.
So what kind of things did you do to overcome that?
Oh, you can pray, you can meditate, or you can go look for water. Go look for things to get water in.
I think one of the things that we did is whenever we were going out to gather resources for something specific, we were looking for other things. So being able to combine tasks and do more than one thing at once, even though you're doing one thing, I think was critical.
Well, the whole gig is a chems game. You're looking for
Finding resources.
lenses.
Yeah, what Leslie's referring to is what we call keep it in memory game. It's a exercise we do during Scout Tracker to help people learn how to see things on the move. So it's applicable to everything. I think it's one of the most misunderstood skill or most needed skills out here is as you're walking, can you see the resources as you're walking and still take in and enjoy yourself on a hike, backpack hunt, whatever, and still know where the resources are. That's where the, natives, Scout Trackers, Boone and Kenton, these guys would see that stuff all the time, which is what I would like to instill in us for sure. Which I think this kind of class does that really well.
Laying down on a rock or the cold dirt definitely helps cool you off.
Yeah, we talk
For
about
sure.
using the earth to removes body heat in the wintertime, which is a problem, but in the summertime, it worked exceptionally well too. When we were getting hot, we would just lay down on the ground, try to put as much of our body on bare earth as we could. We walked around barefooted several times to remove heat. There's a good study by the Department of Defense where you can take the palms of your hands and the bottoms of your feet and put them in water or anything cool temperature, including the earth, and it helps remove the body heat rather rapidly. So we didn't really talk about the science of that. We just kind of did it because we've been here, done that a few times and know that it works. So it worked really well. What else, you all? Anything?
Come to class.
Come to class.
It's worth it.
This is a level 3. A couple of the folks here, these are all cadre. I didn't actually put too much of this out to anybody other than cadre because I really, quite frankly, thought that this is going to be one of the most dangerous classes we do other than firearms type stuff. But I thought there was an opportunity for people to get hurt, overheated. And so I wanted a small group that I knew I could trust these people. So that worked exceptionally well. But Leslie mentioned earlier, we went out, we did set up a base camp and we went out and did our stuff from that base camp. And so that worked exceptionally well to know that we had a place to go back to. And it's really helpful.
You mentioned that, Craig. You mentioned too the prevailing weather, the light, east-west facing, north and south facing places as the seasons change. The
Yeah.
choices of base camps are very important based on the season.
Absolutely. And as you said, the prevailing wind patterns, weather patterns, whatever, that's another thing that when you get out of a vehicle, I think a good woodsman is going to get out of the vehicle and the first thing they're going to pay attention to is the wind. They know where that wind is blowing, and wherever they go, they know where that wind is blowing. So we should do that. We should know where the sun's coming up and when it's going down. If we're going to go on one side of the hillside, are we going to deal with a lot of sun? Or if we go over here, are we going to deal with less sun? So in a heated situation, let's go over here. In the wintertime, we'd go over there where we're going to get more sun. So paying attention to those kind of things are critical because we've noticed, because there were times where we were in the woods and then we were in the field and there was how much of a temperature distance did it feel like?
20, 30 degrees.
It just, I don't know what it was, but it sure did feel different.
Yeah, when we were out looking for resources or whatever, that was kind of our main goal, was stay in the shade. We went around on the cliff line and stuff and stay out of the fields.
And as a group,
Open fields.
Who was it? Leslie said something about teamwork. When we did that stuff, Leslie started it, but everything that we did where we went out, we had a mission set, if you will. We had to talk about, hey, where are you going? When do you expect to return back to camp? That way we could get to one another and know where one another were going, which is we didn't need it really to get anybody out. But if something had happened, then we had that as a backup for sure.
You can show them your elbows, Greg.
Yeah. Fell right on my butt. This is one of those things. Are they bad? I can't even see them. Are they bad?
Pretty nasty.
but fell. Was that the first night?
Yeah.
First night.
Very
I
good.
mean,
Yeah,
talking
hit
about fell, scratched my arms up. Everything's okay, right? But it could have been a broken arm within an hour of being here.
concussion.
And it could have hit a rock. I mean, it could have. There was a light rain, and I went over an embankment and didn't keep my footing very well, and just whack. Tried to do my best judo fall, but it just didn't turn out too well for me.
It kind of did, because no major injuries and you're still here. So.
Yeah, maybe that saved me. Maybe my judo falls did save me. I don't know. Anything else you all share? Likes, dislikes? Nature Blind School. This has been level 3, what we call knife only. A couple things. Did either one of you all bring your packs? We did take 2 packs, just so you know we're not stupid. We took 2 packs that were backup. Hey, we got water, we got electrolytes, we got all the stuff that we need in case something bad happens.
First aid, radio.
First aid, all that stuff. We take that with us. Thanks to Clayton and Dave for carrying that most of the way. Really appreciate that a lot. That way we got backup. We're not stupid in our training. We got backups for the backups for the backups, so that we're doing things as safely as we can. But challenge yourself. Do knife only on your own. Make sure you got somebody that knows where you're going and do it on your own, or come to level 1, level 2, and then do level 3 with us here at Nature Blind School. We'd love to have you. Come on, join in.
Together.
I often say that I stand on the shoulders of giants, and I often say I stand on the shoulders of the giants that came before me. I also stand on the shoulders of the giants that walk into the woods with me, and you just heard from some of them. I can't applaud enough the guys and gals that have been there, done that with me so many times like this, and just engage in this type of training, because it sucks. It sucks. These are all accomplished survival students. They're all accomplished survival instructors in their own right. And for them to engage in a class that they know, I mean, going in, it's going to be bad, is a testament to their ability to want to learn how to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations. They did extremely well. There's a couple of times during class I'm looking at some people and they're just rather quiet compared to their normal selves, and I asked them about it and they're like, man, I'm just dealing with it. So yeah, me too. So they did extremely well, and I'm just so thankful that they were willing to get on camera when they were tired and hungry and all that good stuff and share with you. Survival is all about shelter, water, food. So just to give you an overview of what we did, there is we did a planning stage. That was even before we ever showed up. We developed a group where we planned on what we were going to do. Then we got there, we actually had another planning where we were all together in person, and we put together plans for all the risk assessment, risk analysis that we always do in class. All the things that could go wrong, we found solutions for it. That's why you see 2 of the guys in some of the video carrying packs. We didn't utilize the stuff out of those packs. What we did is we had those as our backups if we needed them for safety. So that worked extremely well. The only thing we pulled out of them, as I suggested on the last day, is we were going to hike out, which is a really long hike. We take the water that we had brought with us and some electrolytes, and we drink that for the hike out, just to make sure that we had proper energy and we weren't cramping on the way out. So, but we did. We planned on shelter based upon prevailing wind patterns and sun patterns. Based upon this heat, we knew we'd have to get somewhere where it was cool. So that was planned. We were able to procure plenty of water for us. It took a lot of work. It was really, my thought was the difference between wintertime survival and summertime survival is in wintertime, we spent a lot of time gathering bedding and wood for fire. In this class, we spent a lot of time gathering materials to make clean water so we could drink water. So that was the big major difference between a winter level 3 knife only and a summer knife only. So, and then we found plenty of edible plants, but I noticed, quite frankly, everybody that was in class, including myself, just weren't exceptionally hungry. There was an area where we set up our base that had all kinds of edible plants on it, and we looked at them and pointed out at least a couple, and we ate, and we just kind of didn't need to eat. So maybe that's a product of just being tired, but it worked really well. Everything went exceptionally well. And yeah, there's some things that we're not telling you because we want you to come to class. And one of the guys, I think it was Wayne, mentioned in the discussion, in the roundtable discussion, that hey, you can learn a lot from videos and YouTube, but you actually learn it in a practical manner by going to class. Now, just so this is not a sales pitch, you can do that on your own. Get out, do knife only on your own. Just make sure you got backup and safety so somebody knows where you are and all that kind of good stuff, or come to class. What we're going to do is it'll take you X amount of time to get down the path on your own. And what we're going to do is we're going to take you down the path in a very educated manner, a little bit quicker, so that you're more up to speed, because you're surrounded by people that you just saw in this video that have a tremendous amount of experience, and we can help you with that. So we hope you consider joining us in a level 1, level 2, or level 3 course, depending upon where you are in our training and your training. And we would absolutely love to be able to help you get out there with knife only and make your way in the wilderness. So as always with Nature Line School, come on, join in. Let's learn together.